Hello everybody, we are in northern Minnesota today, really northern Minnesota, practically Canada, and this is a good place to talk about the boreal forest biome and perhaps also the ecotone between the boreal forest and the temperate forest. So you can see behind me that we're in a very dense coniferous tree forest, and I'm going to just take you down to soil level and show you really briefly what kind of soils there are here, typically in these places. And if you're wondering why I'm constantly touching my face during Corona times, that's because there are a lot of mosquitoes here. You'll see my students here, my grad students, Nathan and Jordan. Hi Nathan and Jordan, hi! They are also suffering from insects and other ailments, but they're doing great work here. So let me bring you close to the soil real quick. So what you see here, hopefully, yeah, you do, is a ring. I'll tell you about the ring later. But first, what you see is a lot of needles. That's the typical stuff on the soil in these boreal forests. You see, if you got a little closer, you see that it's all molded in the lower layers, and then it molds, and it decomposes into pure organic matter where you can no longer recognize the leaves. This is still all organic matter, not sand, not clay, not silt, just organic matter. And then under that there is real soil, and it obviously depends on the parent material of the region, which whether it's a lot of sand or a lot of stones and so forth. In this region, it's a mix. A lot of stones, a lot of soil, a lot of sand, a lot of silt on occasion, maybe not so much clay. And we're gonna. That's actually the project of Nathan. Hi, Nathan.
Hey.
That was Nathan. Nathan's project is about trying to predict soil stoniness with with variables such as slope steepness. So if I tell you the slope steepness, you tell me the soil stoniness. If we can do that, that'd be very valuable for agroforestry and for other agricultural practices, even though this is a forest. So I was going to tell you a little more about the soil. So we have that decomposing needly stuff, and the way that decomposes, as I showed you, is through molding. I hope you see it very well now. It's quite white. And if that's the process of decomposition, then what is the result is acids that dissolve really well in water, organic acids. And I'll spare you all the details, but the result of that is that you are making your soil also more acid than it was originally. And very often that leads to soils that you know as podzol, that we talked about in the soil chapter. If you remember, if you overlay the soils map of the world with the biomes map of the world, the podzol belong with the boreal forest. And the reason for that is what I just told you. Bad litter. It can only decompose through molding. I mean, who imagines earthworms eating this stuff? That does not happen, right? So we don't have the benefit of earthworm poop. And instead we have that stuff that acidifies the soil. So I was briefly telling you about ecotones. Let me just briefly show you what I was thinking of. So here, of course, we're in a boreal forest, hardcore boreal forest. All of the trees are coniferous. I am not asking you to remember their names because, to be really honest, I don't know the names either. But if we look around across this road, this forest road, I'll wait for a car to pass real brief. You also see some deciduous trees, right? Like over here are some deciduous trees right there in the middle, like this, yeah. And clearly a birch over there in the back. If we see that kind of mixed forest, that tells us that we are not quite yet in that climatic zone that is needed for pure boreal forest. It's getting there, but we're still in the zone, the climate zone, the C climates that would also allow for temperate forests. So we're in the, climatically speaking, we're in the transition between C and D. I guess that's enough for today for our virtual trip to northern Minnesota. See you soon.